Hey students, welcome to week 3 of Introduction to Business. We have a lot of ground to cover this week, so let's get into it. This week our learning objectives include defining what management is, describing the 4 basic management functions of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, identifying the key management skills that successful managers have and possess. We're going to look at explaining the different types of leadership. Lots of literature out there about leadership styles and who does what really good, and are leaders born or leaders made, that whole discussion. Then we're going to look at understanding what an organization is. We're going to look at understanding what span of management is. That's going to be out of chapter 7. Then we're also going to look at describing the 4 basic forms of organizational structure. Now, sometimes it's hard to describe what something is, especially if what you're trying to describe is not something you can hang on to. It's like an abstract. It's intangible. You can't grasp it, or physically grasp it, I should say. You know, the concept of management, leadership, and organization are things you cannot grasp. They are abstract. You can't touch them or handle them. And they're often difficult to describe. It makes them hard to describe sometimes. Or they are described in many different ways. And that's why when you look up things like leadership and you Google the term leadership, all different definitions will pop up. Well, management, leadership, and organization are 3 pivotal topics that we're covering this week. Let's start with talking about management for a moment. From the text, management is the process of coordinating people and other resources to achieve an organization's goals. And managers are concerned with 4 types of resources: material, human, financial, and informational. You can look that up on page 180 in your book. And management has 4 basic functions that it does to accomplish those goals. They plan, they organize, they lead, they control. So management is a process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. That's what managers do. What about leaders? Well, according to our text, managers' effectiveness often depends on their styles of leadership. That is, their ability to influence others, either formally or informally, are often driven by their particular leadership style. So, leaders have this ability to motivate others into doing things that sometimes people may not want to do. And I would add this, by the way, that you do not need to be a manager to be a leader. You can be a leader of one, you, or you can be a leader of many, even those who do not work for you. You know, some of our greatest leaders in America had very few people working for them, but influenced thousands. I think of pastors, community leaders, and people working on social issues. Few people work for them, but they influence many. But listen, if you're a manager, you really need to be a leader. So I'm sure we all know those managers who could not even lead themselves, let alone those under them. Okay, we've talked about management and leaders. Now let's talk about organizations. Much like management and leaders, you can't really touch organizations. According to our text in the course book, in the course textbook, an organization is a group of 2 or more people working together to achieve a common set of goals. So, even though you cannot touch organizations, you can touch people in the organizations. Like, you can reach out and touch them. You know who they are. You can see their face. They've got a name. You know, organizations exist because these members agree to work together for some purpose. Organizations can be formal, like for-profit businesses, or not-for-profit businesses, or even clubs. Those are all examples of formal organizations. But organizations can also be informal. Your group of friends that you hang with, they're an example of an informal organization. When you gather around the coffee pot at work and you talk as like an ad hoc group, that's an informal or ad hoc organization. Okay, that's all for now, but please read chapter 6 and 7. And a reminder that your initial response in Canvas to each of your 2 discussion questions is due by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. midnight, okay? And some of you are beginning to slip on getting those done by the deadline. So I'll be deducting points for late assignments from here on out. Your responses to a minimum of 3 cohort discussion questions are due by Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Quizzes must be completed no later than Friday, 11:59 p.m. And your weekly assignments, again, Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Just want to give you a heads up about week 8. It's a number of weeks away yet, but I want you thinking about it. The assignment in week 8 is not a written assignment. The assignment is a one-on-one presentation with me about your assignments from about any one of your assignments from week 1 through week 7. So you get to choose. Pick an assignment that you did really well, that you understood from week 1, between week 1 and week 7. Pick the one out that you like and make it into a presentation. And the details are in the syllabus to be sure to check, so be sure to check that out. So the better and more thorough you do your writing now when you're doing your papers, your assignment papers for week 1 through week 7, the easier this presentation will be for you. The content will already be done. You just need to put it into a presentation format. So make sure you're doing a good job writing the papers now. It'll help you in week 8. Okay. I'm also available during virtual office hours on Tuesday evenings from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mountain Time. I use Zoom, and you can find the link in the welcome module. All right, remember, God is on his throne. He's always been there, and he's always going to be. Have yourself a great day.